Starting from the left side of the picture, we have some World War I memorabilia. There's a blanket with C.W. Watt's name on it, which was given to us by his family. He was a World War I veteran from Lenoir City. He's buried in Lenoir City Cemetery. He was a boxer when he was in the Army, as well as a horse wrangler. They still had cavalry when he was in the Army, and so he was one of the people that minded the horses. The tunic that's on the display case with the cap on top is from a World War I veteran named Roy Cardwell, and the picture is of him on parade. The picture to the extreme left is of him on parade, and above that you see a Volunteer for Victory poster, which was an ad for the Red Cross during World War II. In this display case, again starting from the left-hand side, we have some World War I artifacts, including the leggings that went with the Cardwell uniform. And then kind of in the center and on the right side of the case, we have some memorabilia from World War II. Some of it has to do with items from Germany that were brought home by soldiers who had fought in Europe. And then some of the other items are ration cards that were used here in the United States during the war. On top of this cabinet, we have a couple of interesting photographs. One is Lenoir City after the war, and then the one that's directly next to the tunic is shows a long line of people to get into a department store for the first nylon stockings that were sold after World War II. During the war, all of the silk and nylon was used to make parachutes for the soldiers, so that the ladies didn't have any. Behind that display case, this is a feature of the building. At one time this was a railroad depot, and you can see the marble counter where people bought tickets and that sort of thing. But we also have some information there about Gold Star flags, which were given to the families of soldiers who were killed in battle, and then the Blue Star flags, which were given to families just to show that they had a son on the battlefront. All around the rooms you'll also see some other posters and some framed newspaper headlines from the World War I and World War II era. Starting here is a World War II uniform for a Lenoir Cityan named Major Franklin Wilkerson. And confusingly enough for the Marine Corps and everyone else, his name was Major, not his rank. Also, this is his son's Vietnam War uniform, where his son, also named Major, was in the Army. And again, confusingly enough, it was his name and not his rank. But these two uniforms were donated by the wife of the World War II soldier and the mother of the Vietnam era veteran. This display case does not actually belong to the museum. It is on loan to us during the month of October, and we're kind of excited about this, to have this special exhibit. Loudoun County has one Medal of Honor winner in its history. This young man's name was Mitchell Stout. He was awarded this medal in 1974 for his heroism in battle in 1970 in Vietnam. I believe the story is that he fell on a grenade in order to protect his buddies in his outfit. His family donated these items to the National Guard Armory out at Eaton's Crossroads, and they have kindly lent us this exhibit for the month of October, and we're pretty excited to have it. Here's the actual Medal of Honor, along with the citations, and then other medals that he earned during his service and the citations for those. And then these, of course, are some of his clothing items that he had when he was in Vietnam.
Okay, we are in what we call the school and the church room here at the Lenoir City Museum. One of the interesting items we have is a sweater that belonged to a Lenoir City high school teacher. Some of you may remember her as Polly Baker. Then she became, after her husband died, she married Don Stallard, Polly Baker, or Polly Stallard. And this is a sweater that her mother knitted. when she was in high school, and it includes all of her classmates, which is kind of fascinating to me. Cherry was her husband, and Carl, somebody remember Carl, he worked at the Lenoir City Post Office. Her name was Polly, and there are several of her classmates. And just a few years before she passed away, she gave this to her. We even have a picture of her in the 40s wearing the sweater, which is very nice, I think. We had a popular band director in the, I guess that was in 1960, that was killed in an automobile accident. His name was James Chance. He was killed on a Sunday night right after the Christmas concert, and so they decided to put out a record called The Broken Baton. We have other band uniforms, things in here. This is just sort of school memorabilia. We have the very first high school annual at Lenoir City. I think that was in 1911. And then we have a large collection of annuals, not totally complete, but we do have some extra annuals that people have given us, and they are for sale. So if you want to get an annual, we have the Central Methodist Church's original pulpit. We have pictures and plates and other kind of memorabilia from several high schools in the county. In the city. Several schools in the city. Lenoir City has its own rather prominent author. His name was Richard Marius. He graduated from Lenoir City High School in, I'll have to look at the annual, in 1951. He went on to seminary. He got kind of disillusioned with some of the principles of the seminary, so he left and eventually went on to get his doctorate in church history from Yale University. I think he taught a couple of years at Gettysburg College, then he came to UT and taught there for a number of years. He got involved in some of the protests, as a lot of people did. He supported the students that were protesting the Vietnam War, and there was some controversy there, but he was a very, very popular teacher. I had former students that went on to his classes and adored him. Well, he wound up, after he published 4 novels, after he published the first 2, I think, about the Lenoir City area, then he went on to become the director of creative writing at Harvard University. And it was there that he died much too soon in 1999 of pancreatic cancer. His wife still lives in Belmont, Massachusetts, and she gave us some pictures and some awards and some other things that belong to Richard, and we felt like a novelist that has published 4 novels, and 2 of them were declared most notable books of the year by the New York Times Book Review. I think The Coming of Rain was the first, and the next one was After the War. The Coming of Rain is about the Reconstruction period. Bound for the Promised Land is about a wagon trek westward. After the War is about the car works. His father came here as a chemist to work at the car works, and eventually he became the superintendent of the car works. And then his 4th novel was An Affair of Honor, which is about Lenoir City in the 50s area. He also, previously to these novels, he wrote 2 well-received and well-reviewed books, A History of Martin Luther and also A History of Sir Thomas More. He was always very interested in history and religious history particularly. So we are happy to have this exhibit on Richard Marius.
We hope you'll remember Lenoir City Museum when you make plans to go out, and we hope you've enjoyed this video tour. We are open from 1 to 4 p.m. in the afternoons from Wednesday through Friday, April through October. And